Hi guys, welcome to Manhood Explained. My name is Camille. Today is 22nd of June 2020 and welcome to video number 178. Today I watched a video which kind of put me in a very strange mood. I start to think about what I've seen. I start to see the same thing happening over and over again, and I try to understand what's happening. I start to see that we are constantly in war mode. Whatever is happening, whatever was happening for so many years, we constantly have some kind of enemy to fight. So many years ago there were Nazis, then there were communists, then I don't know what was in between. There was Al-Qaeda, and then there was ISIS. Now for the last few months there was a supposedly virus against all the humanity. And now few months later, it's like, people against the police and, whites against Afro-Americans or black and the other, and vice versa. And I start to think, this is terrible. That we always have, and for so many years we had, the one thing that kind of made us tick was war. Was basically having someone to fight with. And I don't want to go deeply into the reasons of what happened in history and what happened in the last few months. But it's like the problem with what I see is that we don't see how much we've changed. We don't see that we stopped talking to each other, we start fighting each other. Because what's happening in US right now, whether you're on one side or the other, what's your background? It's like having a car. Your car was scratched by your neighbor, and then giving yourself permission to burn his car just because he did it to yourself, to your car. Because that's the escalation of this whole thing. And it doesn't really matter what really happened, although it matters in its own respect, but I don't want to go there. But the escalations went so over the board that it's hard to watch. There's one guy who died and one policeman that should end up in jail, and as far as I know that's going to happen, but I don't really follow the thing. But then on the process of kind of not agreeing with what happened and again, there are at least three Afro-American policemen that are dead right now. Is that a valid result of us going against what happened? And I'm just mentioning that. I don't want to, go into division and say what I think about it. It doesn't really matter. What I want you to see, that again and again we kind of prove ourselves that we decide to go on war rather than try to talk it out or find the peaceful way to solve the problem. Because what's happening right now, it's completely the opposite of solving it. And you see, the problem that I want to kind of underline right now, mentioning whatever happened in the history, is that we do the same thing in our relationship. And that's why the title basically says that if you fight in your relationship or you're letting it die, you're missing the point. Because first of all, I understand we have bad days. We are making mistakes. We are human, and that's completely fine. You argue from time to time or having some misconception or misunderstanding. I got it. But why you're allowing this to get to the point that many of you or most of you are not happy in your relationships? And most or over 50% of marriages are failing apart. And many are not failing apart, but they're in the even dire state. And probably now they should, because it's not healthy for anyone. But you've got to look at the situation. If this is the mindset that we have, that we allow ourselves to be played into, because listen, the rule divide and conquer was for thousands of years used to conquer people. And if you look close enough for what's going on right now, it was happening for so many years. It's exactly the same tactic. But that's, I'm digressing. But we've been played to have this mindset. And then if you bring it to your relationship, you do the same thing. And first of all, at least one person of you is basically, one of you is making the mistake of not wanting to change. Some At least one person of two of you is basically doing it wrong, making this whole situation worse, and they don't want to change. And maybe it's both of you. Maybe you just switch. Then in time, what happens? That even if you did a mistake, then you forgave yourselves, then the other person did something wrong, then you get to the point that you get tired of it. That's the stage number 2, which is very dangerous, because the moment you start to feel that you're tired about where your relationship goes, it just shows that you're not able to pass the point of having more love than pain in your relationship. And then you just stop trying, because you just basically decided that it's just never going to happen. And I'm tired of playing this game. But I want you to look at this way, because some of you are using this excuses that it's conflict of characters with just two completely different people. And I hear that over and over again from people who just met and people who basically are years in marriage. And I say, what kind of lame excuse is that? What do you really want to say? From my perspective, if I see that every time, I just say, you're like a business person who just, starts the business, everything starts to run well, and then once he or she forgets to pay taxes or do something stupid, pay the price, rebuild, go forward, and then do the same thing over again, and then again, and then again, and then over and over again. And then after some time, your business starts to decline because you're making the same mistakes over and over again. What do you expect to happen? Or as like being a sportsman or sports person, that you try to achieve some goals, and then everything started great, and then you get to the point that you see, I'll have to stop drinking alcohol, or change my diet, because I'm not able to go farther. And then everything is fine. You try, then you stop, then you try, then you stop, then you win something, then you lose something, and then the time passes, and you basically start to decline. Because the one thing that it's in common with the sports person, with the business person, with you in a relationship, you're refusing to learn the lesson. You're refusing to draw the conclusions from the lessons that you went through. And sooner or later, decline will come, because or you're going to grow or you're going to die. That's that simple. So then, the question is very simple. In most of the cases, I see that, especially at the beginning, girls are those who are always want to repair, always want to make this whole thing work. Not always, but in many cases, we are having issues with saying what we want, saying what we feel, saying what bothers us. We are having issues with show our vulnerability. So then, let me ask you this very simple question. What happened, or when you decided to quit? What was the moment that you being in love with this person and being willing to flip world upside down and inside out for this person, to being so hurtful and so in a fight for so much with each other, that you basically decided to quit? What happened? When did it happen? What happened that you allowed yourself to do it? Because let's say it straight, it was a decision. There was a peak, there was a moment when you decided, I don't want to play this game anymore. Tough, isn't it? But you've got to understand, everything that happens was a result of a decision. So this is why I decided so many years ago that I said to myself, if I want this thing to work, if I want to be happy and satisfied in my relationship, I'll take it upon myself. Because it's easier to keep myself accountable than put this accountability on her. And I'm not gonna tell her what to do. I don't own her. And I decided, let me do whatever I can to make this thing work. So let me be the person who'll say, babe, I love you, let's figure it out. I put on myself to be patient. I put it on myself to kind of figure out what should I do. I put on myself to say sorry first, to put my ego in my pocket and say my relationship and our happiness is more important for me to be right, whatever that means. Because you've got to understand, this is the point number 3, which is so important. If you fight in your relationship or you're letting it die, you miss the point. Because you're supposed to have each other's back. You're supposed to protect yourselves. The whole world around you might be in flames. Your family can go against you, your friends can betray you, your employer, I don't know who else can basically, go completely against you and just do something just showing malevolence towards you. But the one place and the one person that you're supposed to be safe with is your wife, is your girl, is your partner. So why have you allowed yourself for cooperating, being in love, to fight each other and hate each other? And there was a moment of decision. So this is what I want you to take from this video. If you fight, or if you're allowing your relationship to die, you're missing the point. You're supposed to protect yourself. You're supposed to protect each other. And you're supposed to be the one that should be able to lean on. So now you're in a crossroad. Now you can basically let it die. Or you can do something as I did. And say to yourself, let me take it upon myself to make this thing work. To let her feel that she's listened to, that I hear what she's saying, not just listening. And let me be the person who will take upon myself to see the love in her eyes and do whatever I can so she would feel that she can come and she can be hugged and I'll say, I love you, let's figure it out. Think about it and do something about it. Because whether you're going to be happy, whether you're going to be satisfied in your relationship, whether this thing going to work, it's just a matter of your decision. But to make this decision, you have to know that you want it. If you liked this video, share, like, comment. If you didn't, comment as well. Give me a shout what you think and tell me what is your approach and your experience around this subject. And if there's anything you want me to record about, give me a shout. I'll be glad to do it for you. That being said, see you tomorrow.